What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Boisvert MMA Roundhouse. With me today is the Muay Thai black belt, Ned JADCZACK. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, Bob, DMB. How you doing, buddy?
Excellent, man. Let's get right into this. We'll start off with some Bellator. MVP, he's on a roll right now. What do you think about MVP fighting daily? I think it kind of needs to happen.
I think I agree. I think it would legitimize some MVP.
No
Good
doubt.
showing in that fight.
Now we know we've heard Coker say in the past, this isn't, rumors, this is true. We've heard him actually say it, that he takes a lot of these lower guys, these lesser known guys, and he kind of develops them a little bit with not easy fights, but he doesn't put them right in the lion's den, as we say. And he's recently mentioned that he's not doing that anymore with MVP or Brennan Ward. I think, unfortunately, with the stumble Ward had, right now it is MVP's spot for Daly versus MVP.
Yep.
Let's say it happens in the next pay-per-view. Who would you have?
I would pick Daly in that fight.
Would you really?
Yep.
Now, I like Daly. He's at around 50 fights. He's been around. He's obviously been in some tough fights, but he hasn't really. If you look at the names he's fought just recently, I mean, he beat Ward pretty good, and in the past he's beat Masvidal, Campman. I think he beat Ludwig. But his losses, he couldn't get past T-Wood, he couldn't get past Diaz, he couldn't get past Kaz. Nick Thompson beat him. I think Jake Shields beat him as well. So, whereas MVP, he just hasn't really faced a whole lot of great talent yet. You got him. Obviously, if you didn't like him, you would have after he cracked Santos's skull right there on live TV for everybody to see.
But I think if you liked him, I think you were probably pretty disappointed in his fight against Fernando Gonzalez. I think he looked pretty awful in that fight.
Well, I got to give you that too. It's amazing for a guy with that much speed and talent to go to some decisions. He's actually, though, I mean, you figure for 12-0, he's got 7 KOs, 3 subs, and I think 2 decisions. And it's odd to me, both decisions seemed like he was just being way too cautious in some bizarre spots. Like with Gonzalez, he didn't have to be cautious.
Right. They were banging.
They were. It was a great fight. And listen, MVP, like I said, Brennan Ward and a lot of other names, they're reasons why I tend to like Bellator more. You yourself with me, we've been to quite a few Bellator live shows. Would you agree with me? I brought this up in other casts. Would you agree that they may catch up to UFC soon?
I do. I think there's probably a big list of guys in the UFC just waiting for the chance to jump at this point. So I think it's going to be a big year for Bellator.
I just recently read that Viacom, whatever the wording is, Viacom pretty much told Coker to start putting as much money as possible at any fighters they can get that are decent or good. So I think they're actively trying to go after the great UFC. And listen, right now with Bellator and WMEIMG and Reebok and this whole sponsorship deal, what better time than right now?
Yep, and people want to make money.
And listen, Viacom has money to throw around. So, I mean, right now, the heavyweight division over there, people can.
I don't even think they have a champion, do they? They don't even have a heavyweight champion.
Well, the thing is their light heavyweight and their heavyweight division, I would say, are better, just because it's up and comers plus some good names. I mean, you got Karatanov's the man. Mitrione, he's gonna do good over there. Ren's doing good right now. Lashley, I don't know. I don't know. But he's gonna put on some good fights, regardless. Then light heavyweight, you got Davis, you got Rampage, you got Carmont, McGeary. Yay, I like him. Vassell, I don't think his window might be shutting, but he's still there. And you got Bader just signed over there. And what are they gonna do with Silva? I mean, there's a lot going on over there. Whereas in UFC, I think it's more the lighter weights now, just thanks to Conor McGregor and maybe even a little bit of Jose Aldo and the California kid. The lighter weights got a lot of eyes on them now, because unfortunately the injury bug, aka mostly you know, everybody gets hurt in heavyweight, and you know the belt's clogged up. For how many years do we see that belt clogged up due to injuries?
Long time.
So that's going to bring us to our next point, Conor McGregor. Now, I know a lot of people hate him, a lot of people love him. You cannot dispute the man is talented. He will trick you into being a horrible counter striker, and he'll catch you on it. Now, my thing is, lately, with this whole 155, 145, the whole wanting to box Mayweather, is this just clogging up those two belts forever and ever with something we don't need right now in UFC?
No.
What are your feelings on that?
I think it's he should give up the belts if he wants to go after boxing fights, or at least one of them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, at least one of them. But which one? Because I mean, he's got 145 on hold, so they had to give the belt to Aldo. That's the most paperish champ you ever seen in your life. No disrespect to Aldo, but I'm surprised Aldo
He shouldn't
even
have the belt.
accepted
Yeah, he
that
shouldn't have
belt. Okay, so that brings us to he walked right and look, he earned every time he beat Holloway. Unfortunately, I don't know, losing to McGregor for Holloway did nothing but great to him, because look at him now. Holloway's on fire.
Yeah.
But he walked through, what was it, Brandao, Poirier, Siver then Mendez, Aldo, Diaz, Alvarez, with a loss to Diaz in there too. But he simply destroyed Alvarez. Did you see the 5-shot combo that ended the fight? He connected with every one of them by, I'd say, at least 30% minimum.
Right. No, that's true.
You can't hold my man back for that. That's great.
But
great work.
they're all stand-up fighters. Not a lot of. I think he's kind of been set up with good fights for him.
How can you say Mendez is not?
Mendez and
Look what he
Alvarez
did.
were
Look,
the two best wrestlers.
look what he did to Mendez. He bonked him everywhere on the ground as well. He owned him. And listen, we all know he's not a jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Right. A lot of stand-up guys in there, though.
So where do we see Conor, say, this time next year? Has he fought Mayweather yet? And what champ is he? Will he still have the 55er?
I think he doesn't like cutting that weight anymore. I think he would keep the higher belt.
So you don't think he'll ever go back and fight Aldo again?
No.
I
I don't think so.
This time next year, if he still has the 55er, they're going to meet in the middle somewhere, maybe some sort of catch weight, and he's going to destroy Aldo again. I see it happening.
I don't see Aldo fighting him again. I don't think it's necessarily because of Conor McGregor that they won't fight. I think Aldo, that guy's going to get up for that fight. He's been embarrassed. I don't know. He's already broken by that guy. He was broken before they fought.
I 100% agree. He took his soul. The guy put on 10 years. No, let me correct that. The guy put on about 7 years of amazing fights, and then he put on about 3 years of GSP caliber, just win fights.
Yep.
And he got exposed for that by a great fighter.
And he is a better fighter than getting knocked out that quick, but I think he's just shot mentally. He's in his head too bad already, and he got knocked out fast.
Listen, and you can't even really blame him for that either. It's not like I said, it's not like he didn't put a lot of great fights on from the WEC days to UFC. And before that.
He's dominant, though. I haven't seen him in a good fight in a while, though.
Listen, the problem with it is though McGregor came in and kind of exposed every one of their top fighters in that division. So it's in 45. I'm sorry. Yeah. So it's like where do you go from there? We need somebody to come out by giving Aldo back the belt. It's kind of like, okay, the bully left. You guys can go back to fighting over this
go
candy.
Back to where you were now.
Right. It makes no sense to me.
I hear that.
Anyway, moving on. We're hearing a lot of rumors lately about Khabib Nurmagomedov. At least his father's spreading some rumors that he's ready to retire in light of this last 209 dropout, in a lieu of dropouts, injuries, sicknesses, etc. Unfortunately, this guy who was on top of the world can't seem to get into a fight lately. And luckily, the rumors reported by Khabib is that he's not retiring and that it wasn't tiramisu that he was eating, etc., etc. What do you feel about that? What do you think about him? What do you think about him versus Conor and him versus anybody?
I think he'd be a tough fight for Conor McGregor, but I don't know. I think the UFC is holding on to him. They have a lot of patience with this guy compared to other people that have done the same stuff.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, they really want to be big in Russia. They want some Russian fighters. They're gonna have patience with him, but I don't know how much longer that's gonna last.
Well, not to get off subject here, but that brings up a nice point there, Ned. How do you feel a lot of the nationalities help these fighters as far as we know Dana wants to move into other
Yeah, I think it
countries,
helps.
etc.?
I think look at Conor McGregor. I mean,
Oh, so
he
true.
wanted to be, Europe. Look at that. Boom, big,
But we
big.
know those are the let's face it. Over there in Ireland, they're the best fans. They've
They
proven it
do.
over
They
and over again.
travel. Oh my God, they are they're good fans.
Other than
Wow.
I'd give them a second place because Japan, the Japanese fans are by far the best. But anyway, that's a little far off subject here. What is Habib gonna come back? And is he gonna get a title shot right away? Say within 2, 3 fights? I would say yes. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say if he has one more win, they'd probably throw him in another title fight. That's my guess. I don't think they'd make him because he pulls out of what every other fight at this point, anyways.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's
poor Tony Ferguson.
here's my yeah, no doubt. Here's my take on that though. It's kind of like our boy Cruz. He's takes so much time off. Some people don't get ring rust. What they do is they get tougher when they're not training as hard.
Right.
They're really good fighters. It's in their head. It's in their brain, and they're going to fight good either way. So when they're not training every day, they're injured. Quotes up. They come back with all kinds of power. I feel that was definitely the secret to Cruz's success. What do you think?
Cruz, yeah, he came back. I don't know. He came back good. Probably, yeah. I mean, he has his own style. I think that's just natural. I don't think he
Absolutely,
needs to
that
practice
unorthodox
that.
style is hard to
Yeah,
get at.
you know what I mean?
I
don't think
mean,
he has the-
heads up to Cody for just
oh
destroying
yeah, walking
him.
through him.
I mean, I've been a Cody fan from day one just because I kind of like that look.
Yep.
I like the brashness of him, but
Yeah.
to listen to do that to Dominic Cruz is amazing, and I was happy to see
'Cause
it.
Dominic Cruz pretty much did that to everybody up until that fight.
Right.
He was the one out moving everybody.
And normally I don't like that dancing. Like if it's like say Spider Anderson Silva type brashness, I don't really like it. But Cruz wasn't really getting him. It wasn't to the point where he was disrespecting anybody.
Right.
But listen,
Cody.
the way Cody did it to him, it was, but it was so well placed and deserved.
A lot of good gifts.
Oh man, oh so true.
Oh man, yeah, he did good for himself in that fight in a lot of ways. I mean, first of
Absolutely.
all, it's good marketing to have that. You get the title like that. Wow.
So listen, Ned, you've been a friend of mine for a long time now. Is there anything you want to say? Why don't you talk about your school and your rankings and our great ABD school and etc.
Sure. Charlie McShane, Josh Hesser, ABD, Norwich,
They're both sensei.
Sensei, Colchester, great instructors, great guys, Muay Thai.
We try to support any local MMA we can out here. That's why we love the Bellator so much, I think, because we get to put our hands right on that product and see it.
Yes, sir.
I know for me it's kind of burned in my soul. When I watch it on TV now, I hear the soundtrack and etc. and I feel like I'm there because like
Yeah.
like you and me and Dustin Adams, and we went to enough of them. We love them.
Yes, sir.
And how many UFCs have we been to? I've been to one. How about you?
0.
It's just too damn much money, etc., etc.
You went to one, huh?
Yeah,
Which
way
one?
back the original Mohegs one.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Good card. Oh man, just the good old days. I remember the first time I had yelled to him like a psycho, and he just kind of looked at me and then looked away. But I remember the first time I'd seen Randy Couture, his shoulder muscles, like the top of your neck there,
Yep, the traps.
those were bigger than my entire like calf muscles on my leg, and I was just amazed with the man. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
side story there for y'all.
That's cool, man. Yeah. How about Bellator? We saw Hoist Gracie, Tito.
That was another one. Tito gave me the scowl for my
Yep,
picture. That was
yep,
awesome.
Yep.
All right, that's pretty much about it. Is there anything you want to add? Anything up and coming? Who do you like right now? Who's hot in UFC for you right now? What's your favorite fights?
Me favorite fights. I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of thinking. I don't know. I want to see McGregor fight.
Yeah, so true.
I
It's
want to see a Diaz fight, either Nate or Nick.
let's get into that real quick. There, Nate and and Connor has to happen, but I think if it happens too soon, they're gonna wreck a good moment. And I know this new company, WIMG. Yeah, there it is.
It's a lot of letters.
Anyway, yeah, it's a lot harder to say, isn't it? Zufa, come back. In any
What is
case,
your
that
name?
fight needs to be cradled and grown in an egg and nurtured to be a super huge fight. I say for sure Nate needs to go on and beat up a few more people, which isn't hard to do, and so does Connor.
I think the UFC is afraid to have that fight happen too soon.
And I would agree with him.
Continue to ride the Conor train. 'Cause if he
Right.
loses, it's going to be the end of a good thing.
But here's the deal, in my opinion, and it's and back to Randy Couture, who has shown us that better than anybody. There's no harm in losing.
No. And when he did lose, he dealt with it like a true professional. He did good.
If that's the best advice I could give anybody in the world, us fans do not look at fighters who lose and say, "Oh, I don't like them anymore."
Yeah. All my favorite fighters have been taking L's.
Special shout out to one of my favorites of all time, ACB fighter Michael the Great White Tobin. He's now 12-1. Unfortunately, he didn't get it done in his last fight. It means nothing.
It
He's
happens.
still one of the
Nobody really
greatest
goes
fighters out there.
undefeated. Nobody.
Right. He's still going to great places.
Except for you.
Except for me. I'm done. I'm retired.
Hanging it out.
All right, well, that's about it for this edition of the Boisvert MMA Roundhouse.
Oh, hey.
Ned, what's the name of your place out here again? The Broken...
Broken Road Farm.
We're at the Broken Road Farm on location with Ned JADCZACK.
Goats and chickens and bunnies.
Over and out. Go support some local MMA.
Peace.